Hello.
Hello, what a transformation. I mean, look at all the flowers.
Gail, how in the world did you do this?
Oh, there's nothing to it. You just sprinkle a few seeds and up they sprang.
How do you feel about it all?
You know, I am more nervous today than I was at my own wedding. Oh, Mrs. Grant, it is so nice to see you.
Well, it's nice to see you too, Dr. Adams. No, I mean, I mean, Dr. Baldwin.
It's all right. I do the same thing myself all the time.
Oh, listen, I tell you, I thought this day would never come. I mean, what those two children have been through, and I'm just so happy to see them.
Oh, come on. Don't cry yet. Wait for the wedding, huh? Save it. Listen, I'm sorry we're so late. I was afraid we're going to be too late.
Well, actually, you're not late at all because Scotty and Lee aren't here yet.
Oh, yeah? What happened to them?
Well, en route, I hope. Listen, where's Heather?
Yeah, oh, well, I'm afraid she's not going to be able to make it. She's flat on her back with a headache that she's had since this morning.
Oh, Jeff, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, she's going to try and get by for part of the reception, but she sends her love and best wishes to everybody.
Oh.
Hey, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, hello, beautiful. Hello, Diana.
Oh, you look so happy.
Oh, thank you. You look pretty happy yourself.
I am. We've been looking forward to this for so long.
Ah, amen to that.
May I show you to your seat?
Oh, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay. Right in there. Yeah. Hi.
Oh, hello, Bobby. Hello, Bill.
Hi.
You look so beautiful.
Yeah, the old park will never look the same.
Yeah, well, I like to say that it just all happened, but actually we have been here since the crack of dawn getting all this together.
Hello, Gail.
Hello, Jessie. Hello, Dan. Oh, it's nice to see you.
Well, what a beautiful wedding. What a perfect day for it.
Yeah, well, we've been in constant touch with the Weather Bureau and just hoping that it wasn't going to rain for the last few days.
Well, somebody up there must have heard you. There isn't a cloud in the sky.
I know.
May I show you to your seat?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Right. We'll see you later.
Gail.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
Just look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And you look absolutely radiant.
Oh,
I'm telling you that all the way down here. She refuses to believe me.
Well, that's because I had to get dressed in such a hurry. Where is, Leslie?
Oh, she's up in the gazebo with Laura and the attendants, trying to keep everybody calm till we get things started.
Oh, looks beautiful. Listen, we're a little late because I had to stop by the Weber house. Laura asked me to loan her something borrowed.
Oh, well, what did you give her?
Ah, I gave her a handkerchief that Alan's grandmother lent me, gave to me. I carried at my wedding. She seemed a little nervous. Something about a spat that she and Scotty had.
Yes, well, she is, and the fact that Scotty and Lee aren't here yet isn't helping the fact. I mean,
Good heavens, you know where they are?
I have no idea. But Brian came running by a minute ago up to the gazebo to say that he had a message for Laura from Scotty.
Well, you have any idea what it is?
No. I just pray that nothing's gone wrong.
something terrible has happened. Scotty should be here by now.
Laura.
You don't have to tell me, Brian. I know he's still mad at me because of the fight we had earlier. I wish I never heard of that stupid antique wicker love seat. That's what this is all about, isn't it?
Yes, only because...
I knew it. I knew it, Brian. I've got to talk to him. I've got to make him understand that I never would have said any of those things to him if I hadn't been so nervous about everything.
Laura, Scotty understands that part of it.
Obviously he doesn't. Or he would have called me after he left the house, but it's been almost 2 hours now. I haven't heard anything from him, and I've been calling him every 5 minutes, and he wasn't at the apartment, and neither were you.
I know. That's why I rushed over here to explain things to you for Scotty.
You don't have to explain. I saw the terrible look of hurt and disappointment on his face when I got upset.
Honey, why don't you just let Brian tell you what it is he came here to do?
Because I don't want to hear it.
Well, I nearly broke my neck trying to get over here to get Scotty's message over to you, so you're gonna hear it. Now, Scotty thinks first that your dad should make an announcement to the guests. Yes, that the ceremony will be a few minutes late getting started.
Why?
Because Scotty and Lee are on their way over here, but they're gonna be a few minutes late.
Because Scotty's mother had to take all this time convincing him to come here at all today?
No, Laura, nothing like that, believe me.
It isn't?
No, Laura, you don't know what Scotty's been going through for the past couple of hours.
What? He's all right, isn't he? Nothing happened to him.
No, he's an emotional wreck, but physically he's okay. You see, after he left your house, he felt kind of bad about the misunderstanding you two had, so he went to the antique shop to pick up the love seat, but someone had picked it up in the meantime. So being Scotty, he didn't give up. So he got the dealer to tell him who he sold it to. He and Lee tracked the guy down and talked him into selling it back to them.
He didn't have to do all of that.
Don't you know there's nothing in the world Scotty wouldn't do to make you happy? Anyway, he called me up on the phone. He's on his way back with the love seat, and he told me to tell you why he would be a few minutes late himself.
Oh, Brian, thank you. Thank you. That is the best message anybody ever gave me.
Well, it's nice to see that smile again. Scotty and Lee will be here any minute, but Scotty wanted to shower and get dressed, of course.
Can you imagine Scotty doing something as sweet as that? I mean, going to all of that trouble.
Well, I'm very relieved for you, but I always figured there was some kind of explanation. Oh, do you think it would be a good idea if we asked the minister to make that announcement? I think that's perfect. I'll go tell him that he has to do that. Now listen, Laura, you are to take this time to calm yourself down. Do you understand me?
I'm fine.
Okay,
I'm fine.
Wonderful. Oh. I just realized. Next time I see you, you're going to be married.
I certainly hope so.
Oh. We can't. I need to go
I'm going to wait outside with Gail, and I'll have an usher come back here to tell you as soon as Scotty gets here.
Thank you again, Brian.
My pleasure.
Laura, if you want to accept my resignation as your maid of honor, I certainly understand why.
What are you talking about, Claudia?
Well, all I seem to do is steer you in the wrong direction when it comes to Scotty. First, I tell you to play a few games with him, make him think you didn't care all that much, and that ended up in your terrible accident. And now I tell you about a wicker love seat and almost wrecked your wedding. Oh.
Claudia, as far as the accident goes, that is past history. And as far as the love seat goes, I'm so glad you told me about that.
You are?
Yes. Yes, because it proves something terribly important.
What?
That Scotty and I can get through anything together. Even a misunderstanding that we were both too nervous to deal with today.
Oh, Laura. Here, let me fix your mascara.
Oh, is it coming down?
Yeah. But you look beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous.
So, you know, I should be a bridesmaid every day. I think I just lost 10 pounds in the last 5 minutes.
Well, I did too, I think.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
You know, in all my travels, I've never met anybody who cooks as well as you do.
That certainly is a huge compliment. Thank you again.
Well, if grilled cheese sandwiches are any indication of your culinary expertise, I have to go on with Jeremy. They were delicious. Thank you very much for inviting me to stay.
We've enjoyed having you.
You know, I love hearing about your Irish grandmother. She must have been extraordinary, practically psychic the way she predicted those things.
Well, my grandfather certainly thought she was extraordinary.
You have to understand, Jeremy, that Mr. Kelly uses his grandmother shamelessly to catch people off guard and to assure them of his boyish sincerity. You know, I bet you Laura and Scotty are just about exchanging their wedding vows.
Mr. Kelly, have you ever been married?
No. I haven't, Jeremy.
Why not?
Well, for many reasons, actually. Not the least of which is that I'm working by day, but I'm also going to law school at night, and I really don't have time for much else. And other than that, I just can't afford it right now.
Well, haven't you ever heard of the saying, two can love as cheaply as one?
Yeah, I've heard that, and I don't believe it.
Joe, don't pay any attention to Jeremy. He's been asking me a lot of questions about marriage, too, these days. Seems to be his favorite subject.
Well, I'm fascinated by human relationships.
Oh? What do you find fascinates you?
Well, Mr. Kelly, I have a scientific mind.
Yeah, I know.
But human relationships don't seem to follow any of my rules of science and logic. It just...
Well, I don't think I understand. I mean, a lack of logic really bugs me, too, but, well, who do you mean specifically?
Well, Heather and Jeff, for example. They're a good example.
You don't think their marriage is logical?
Not really. They don't have the same interests, and they don't see things from the same viewpoint.
How do you mean?
Well, they have a nice apartment. Jeff likes it. But Heather, she's always complaining about it. Then again, he likes sports. Heather says that she does, but she's just pretending. Jeff doesn't care a lot about money, yet Heather talks about it all the time.
How did you reach all these conclusions, Jeremy?
Oh, mostly by watching people. Watching people is one of my favorite pastimes. And I'm always interested to see which people fit together. Like Heather's first husband. She always calls him the delivery boy, but I can see that...
Jeremy, that is enough.
No,
okay?
Please, I'm very interested in what Jeremy has to say.
Oh, Joe, please don't encourage him. I've told you, Jeremy, it's not polite to talk about people behind their backs.
But now, I don't really think he was doing that. I think that he was merely making scientific observations and citing specific examples to back up those observations, weren't you?
Yeah, he's right.
And I find his observations and conclusions very interesting. When did you first meet Heather's first husband?
Oh, well, a couple of times when I've been waiting at Jeff's apartment, waiting for him to come home. You know, once Jeff saw him at his apartment, he got really mad. I could tell that he was mad.
Jeremy, look. You can call it scientific if you want, but I think you are nothing but an old gossip. Now, why don't you go outside? It's a beautiful day outside. You can play in the yard, and we'll be with you in a few minutes, okay?
Well, I'm not gossiping, Anne. I'm just trying to put some science and some logic into a subject that defies all logic.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's a fancy way of getting around the fact that you are nosy.
You understand what I mean, Mr. Kelly?
I certainly do, Jeremy.
Well, I'm sure glad that somebody does.
That is quite a boy.
Yes, I certainly have never met anybody like him before.
You know, for all his platinum brain, he's still a very sensitive young boy, isn't he? It's obvious how much you two really love each other.
Yeah, I love him very much, Joe. I hate to think what it'd be like if he wasn't there every day to share it with me.
Well, you haven't given up your idea of adopting him, have you?
Oh, no, I'm just trying to be realistic in case the court decides that Jeff and Heather would be better parents for him.
Well, if it was up to me, I'd choose you.
Why?
Well, because it's obvious how much you two love each other. And because I think that Jeremy has a point. Jeff and Heather seem like a mismatched pair. And I wonder how come Heather is seeing so much of her ex-husband when even Jeremy can tell that Jeff doesn't like it. Okay, let's see. Plane tickets, travel, checks, enough cash to get... Oh, boy, I hope Laura forgives me for being late for my own wedding.
Quite a ceremony, she doesn't.
Yeah. Listen, I want to thank you again, Lee, for paying that extra $50 to get that love seat back.
It was worth it. We better get over the phone. You all set?
Yeah. I'm all set.
Scotty.
Huh?
I want to wish you every good thing, you and Laura, from now on and for the rest of your lives.
Thank you.
How can you expect to catch somebody who makes threats over the telephone and never shows himself out in public?
Yeah, even so, I have my ways.
How?
Well, you wouldn't want me to give away a trade secret now, would you?
Oh, no. Just curious.
Well, you just set little traps here and there, and then it helps a great amount to have a little bit of luck on your side. Like yesterday, for instance, this clown, whoever he is, walked right into a trap that I had really nothing to do with.
Really? Well, who said it then?
Well, it was Peter Taylor's idea, as a matter of fact. And it was a darn good idea at that.
What?
Well, this guy calls the hospital asking for Diana, but Dr. Taylor had talked to Mrs. Brewer and asked her to impersonate Diana. So she says hello, hands in the receiver real quick, and he gets to hear her voice, or to hear this caller's voice very clearly on the phone.
Well, was that helpful?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in this instance, it really was. Because, he picked up something in the vocal quality that he thinks he recognized.
Hello, Joe.
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. How about some iced tea?
Oh, iced tea, sure.
Thank you. So, how are you today?
Oh, all right. Good.
Getting a little jittery. What's the matter?
Nothing. Nothing's wrong at all.
Why, you keep looking at your watch?
Oh, I was just thinking about Scotty and Laura getting married today, that's all.
Oh, yeah. That must be just about over by now. What was your marriage to Heather like? Your wedding, I mean.
There was nothing fancy. I mean, we just went down to the city hall. Her mother made this gorgeous wedding dress, though. She looks so...
You think about that a lot, don't you?
No, not anymore. No.
You know, Larry Joe, I wouldn't let one bad experience stop me from trying again if I were you.
Well, look who's talking. They weren't all bad, Susan. Matter of fact, some of them were pretty... I don't even want to talk about this, all right?
It's really a shame, because you know when I saw you in the park the other day with Heather and PJ, it was such a beautiful family portrait. In fact, if I didn't know better, I would have thought that you were the perfect married couple with a beautiful little boy of your own.
You've got it all wrong, Susan.
Have I?
Yeah.
All I know is what I saw. You holding Heather in your arms.
I was trying to calm her down. Hey, she's going through a... You know, don't you have anything better to do than to come in here and make comments?
Nope. Not until I start the dinner shift tonight. There's nothing I'd rather do than just sit here and talk to you, Larry Joe.
That's wonderful. I've got work to do.
Hey, go ahead. Don't let me stop you. That day I saw you in the park with Heather, wasn't that right after Jeff went with Joe Kelly up to Canada to find Jameson?
Yeah, that's right. And that's the reason that I had to calm Heather down, because she was really upset. Because Jameson wasn't there, Susan.
Joe Kelly thinks he was, but that he got away.
Well, I'm not a detective, am I? But I'll tell you one thing. You're totally wrong if you think there was anything going on with Heather and I in the park that day.
Does that mean that you've given up all hope of getting her back again?
Yeah. Because now I realize she really loves Jeff a lot. They're going to adopt little Jeremy Hewitt. So she's going to have a ready-made family, isn't she?
I still don't understand why she wants to adopt a boy Jeremy's age instead of little baby, do you?
Yeah, she loves him.
I hear he's worth millions.
Oh, come on, Susan. That's not the reason she's adopting him, and you know it. Jeremy doesn't even get any of that money for a long time. They're going to allow a little bit of allotment for the people that's going to...
How do you know all about this, Larry Joe?
Susan, I've got deliveries to make. Will you excuse me?
Sure. Any sense, Scotty?
Well, Brian just saw Mr. Baldwin's car pull up in the parking lot, and he dashed off to meet him. That means we'll be starting in just a few minutes now.
Oh, no.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I think I'm going to faint.
The groom's finally arrived, and as soon as your mother's seated, we'll start the ceremony.
Oh.
Listen, I know what an important moment this is in your life.
Yeah, it is. I'm just afraid that I'm not going to be able to get through it, Reverend Evans.
You will, believe me. Listen, I've never lost a bride or a groom this side of the altar yet. Just relax. Realize that it's par for the course for the bride and the groom to be nervous.
Okay. Well, I mean, my hands are all clammy, though, and I got this knot in my stomach. I really do.
Well, those are classic symptoms. And just realize that all this, the ceremony, isn't really the important thing. The important thing is what the ceremony stands for. And that's the union of two people who love each other, who care for each other. And just realize how lucky you are to have somebody like Scotty who loves you very, very much. So just relax, enjoy it, and feel sorry for some of the people around the world that don't have what you have now. All right?
I never thought of it that way. I'm so lucky. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I can't wait to be Scotty's wife. That's all I've wanted for so long, is to be his wife, and now it's really going to come true. Thank you, Reverend Evans.
Sure. I'll see you down there in a few minutes.
Okay.
Well, you ready?
Yeah.